As we put it earlier on in the night, Morgan, one of a small handful of fighters that anyone during Inoue's reign, anyone believed could potentially beat him.
Yes.
I'm talking about anyone picking a fighter against Inoue anywhere on the internet. There haven't been that many of them. Akhmadaliev was someone who was presumed to be a challenge, and outside of that scary moment in the final.
That dramatic uppercut, knocking the sweat off of Akhmadaliev.
Why should Naoya Inoue get a pass to fight low-level opponents and duck his mandatory, not once, not twice, but 3 times? Inoue is undisputed, pound for pound great, but I've got to say, his resume is pretty shit, to be honest with you. Like, okay, he beat Stephen Fulton, good performance. I mean, I don't know. I think Naoya Inoue is really disappointing. And I think he's very, very disappointing as a champion. He's been ordered now twice to fight MJ. He's paid money to the WBA for a permit to avoid him.
Do you think that fight just won't happen now then?
Obviously. But listen, what I'm telling you now, yeah? So, remember this. The WBA said, okay, we'll allow you to fight Goodman, reluctantly. That's the second time you've ducked. But after Goodman, or now this guy is just boxed, you have to fight Akhmadaliev, and we will order the fight immediately.
My biggest issue here, y'all. Gears. What's up with this man's gears, man? He's either stuck in first or second, or he goes in 5th for killer mode.
The dust has finally settled on the Naoya Inoue versus Murodjon Akhmadaliev showdown, and what a spectacle it turned out to be. But before fists flew and the drama unfolded, UFC experts were busy weighing in with their final predictions. Each had their own take on how this clash of champions would play out and who they believed would walk away victorious. Joel Diaz had shown a lot of confidence in MJ leading into the fight. He talked about how motivated and positive the champ had been, almost like this was the exact challenge MJ had been waiting for a long time. He pointed out that the team saw a huge opportunity here and was ready to take advantage of it.
The spirits are great. The spirits are great because this is the fight that MJ has been asking for a while, and he's very motivated. He's very positive about it, and we see a big opportunity, and we're going to take advantage of it.
When breaking things down, Diaz stressed that MJ brought more than just power. He believed MJ had the full package with his Olympic background, his skill set, and the kind of experience that came from tough fights on a big stage. That mix, in his view, gave MJ an edge that could not be overlooked.
I mean, MJ has a lot more tools than Cardenas. He has power, skill, experience. Remember, he's an Olympian. He's an Olympian, and he's been in tougher fights than at a higher level.
He also highlighted how different the two styles were. While some fighters leaned into that classic Mexican pressure style, MJ relied more on movement, footwork, and being hard to pin down. Diaz thought that could frustrate Inoue at times, and maybe force him into situations where he was not as comfortable.
At a higher level than Ramon Cardenas.
And it just means that they're different styles, right? Ramon is more fajador, more Mexican style. MJ is just more of a
more
box.
elusive, you know. He has more footwork. He's great, you know. He's great with his footwork, and you know, hopefully, you know.
Even with all that confidence, Diaz did not talk as if the outcome was certain. His words carried the tone of a coach who knew the risks, but still felt his fighter had the right mix of tools to pull it off. He made it clear the camp was locked in and ready for whatever came their way. Adam Catterall and Nick Pete had broken down the upcoming super bantamweight clash in Japan and shared what they thought could happen. They focused on MJ's chances against Naoya Inoue, and it was clear they saw a big challenge ahead. They predicted that MJ might find moments of success early in the fight, testing Inoue with his front foot pressure style, but they weren't giving away the outcome. Inoue's unpredictability and finishing ability were central to their thoughts.
He's finally stopped running. That's the narrative, isn't it? That's the narrative. He's been running from MJ for the last 2 years. However, it's taken legal proceedings in order to get this fight over the line. MJ and his team have been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and they've had to lobby and kind of force this particular fight.
Get legislation involved, yeah.
Listen, I'm glad it's happening because it's a fight that I think all fight fans have wanted to see, even though maybe the fight fans out in Japan would prefer the Nakatani fight.
But would they? We have this conversation all the time. We need to get some Japanese people on our Patreon to get involved in this conversation because we're constantly banging the drum. Inoue Nakatani is the biggest fight on the plethora for Inoue. What's the biggest test out there? The biggest test for Terence Crawford? Bloody Canelo, yeah, okay, let's see if he can do it. Biggest test for Usyk? Well, you line them all up, he knocked them all down, done, completed it. Biggest test for Inoue is Nakatani. We're banging it. I can only imagine in Japan, they're like, nah, man, we're good. We're good.
They highlighted that Inoue had faced plenty of top fighters before, and even when opponents landed clean shots, he always had a way to recover. They explained that MJ could cause some problems and even drop him, but Inoue's experience and power meant that he always had a plan ready. It was made clear that fighting him was like solving a puzzle. Every move could have consequences, and timing was everything.
The guy that dropped him is the training partner of Akhmadaliev. So therefore, this corner have already had a good look at Inoue. They've come up with a game plan once before. MJ's a much better fighter than Kasana, who fought him a little earlier on this year. Don't get me wrong. Inoue's got off the deck twice and battered both of those guys and stopped them.
That's the problem you've got.
Okay. Can Akhmadaliev and his style sustain for longer periods of time in the fight what Luis Neira did early? What Quesada did early? Can he do that? And if he can he cause an upset in Japan?
Well, this is the problem. The problem is when you drop Inoue, when you land the shot and you catch Inoue, shifting stances, whatever it is, going from orthodox to southpaw, you catch him square on for a second, which is what Neri did. When you rattle the cage of the monster, when you hurt him, you're then looking at a world of pain because you've got two options now. The first is pounce. I've hurt him. I'm going to pounce. That's what he's waiting for. He wants you to pounce. He wants you to unlock.
Adam and Nick discussed how MJ's style could trouble Inoue at times. His sharp bodywork, solid knockout power, and ability to pressure from the front could make the fight interesting. They also noted that there were glimpses of vulnerability in Inoue, like how he had been dropped before, which could give MJ a window to capitalize if he executed well. The prediction kept it close, but hinted that MJ would have to be careful not to overcommit.
Making a case for Akhmadaliev this weekend. One, he's used to fighting on the road. He's used to going in people's back gardens.
Okay, right? Good start.
The company that he's keeping in the gym, he's knocking about the likes of the Bivols and the Zalievs of this world out in America. That's the iron sharpens iron type of argument.
Lovely.
His stoppage and knockout ratio is very, very good for this division. And I also think the style that he is of a fighter could genuinely cause some serious problems for Naoya Inoue. He's a front foot pressure fighter, brilliant work to the body. And he's got, as I've just pointed out, with the knockout ratio that he's got heavy hands.
Yeah.
There have been little glimpses in the armour of Naoya Inoue that there's gaps there.
Absolutely.
He fought Luis Neira.
Got dropped.
Gets dropped in the first round. Last time out, last minute opponent comes in, drops him in the second round, has him all over the place.
They pointed out that Inoue was patient and strategic. If you rushed or got greedy, he could punish mistakes hard and fast. They made it clear that even if MJ landed big shots, Inoue's chin and ring IQ meant that he could recover and turn the tide. Inoue's style as a predator in the ring was something they stressed repeatedly, leaving the impression that the fight could swing in unpredictable ways, depending on how each fighter approached it.
Tyson Fury's chin's unbelievable.
And Inoue's got an unbelievable chin.
Yep, I agree.
He gets up and he's there. And the problem is, you've got now, again, two options. Go now. He's ready. He's hit. I'm going to go. As soon as you start going, he's going to hit you twice as hard right down the pipe, and chances are you ain't getting back up. Your other option is to go, okay, I've won this round now, it's probably a 10-8 round, I'll go backwards. That's the other thing he wants you to do. He wants you to go backwards because he's a predator. He spent his entire career stalking prey. The way to beat him is to go forward, but don't get too greedy. Throw, but don't get too greedy. Land, don't get too greedy. Back off, because Inoue wants you to swing. That's what his whole yeah, man, I can afford to step across square on and give you a flash moment. And if you're lucky enough, you could throw something and drop me. Or you could throw something, miss, and by the way, here comes a corkscrew uppercut, and you're fucking in rose head. That's why he's so good. That's why he's one of the best fighters we've ever seen in these smaller weight divisions. Why he's arguably the best fighter.
Adam and Nick also reflected on MJ's potential if things went right. They said he could shine and make a big name for himself with a strong performance, especially if he could handle the pressure and match Inoue's intensity. However, they were cautious about whether he could sustain that over the full fight. The prediction left fans wondering about the key moments and whether MJ could find the right opportunities without giving too much.
Come on, mate, you throw. Yeah, go on. You're having a good go, aren't you? You're having a good success there, pal. Yeah, you're drunk on success now. Fucking get that stitched. Game over.
How big of a star could MJ become, though, if he knocks him out?
Absolutely huge. Is he still with Eddie? Is he still with Matchroom? He was with the Matchroom for a spell.
I think he's connected in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, because you beat Inoue, you don't rematch Inoue. You run for the hills and you claim that pound for pound status, and you come back to.
Yeah, but financially that could be massive for a rematch with him.
Well, it could be, but also you slayed the monster. Nobody else has come close to slaying the monster. People have hurt him to their own detriment. But I think MJ could come back to this side of the pond, come back to Europe, come back to the Middle East, even Saudi, make him a superstar.
On the fight, he focused on the intense training both fighters went through leading up.
I ain't giving up and I ain't giving in. Do it now, if we on the path, I just gotta get it, cause I got my mind.
Focused, the way they handled provocations and challenges showed a level of confidence and discipline that made the fight even more.
I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I'm gonna be
Inoue's composure and presence, though he didn't say it outright, leaving room for suspense about how MJ would respond.
個人的にやっぱり去年は個人の成績だけだと結構悔しい思いはしたんで、まあね、いろいろ言われたりもねあったんで、今年はねいい成績出して、はい、見返していきたいなという気持ちですね。はい、チームの人たちもね、去年の調子のまま僕もね勝てばもうまた同じ優勝できると思うんで、はい、それを目指していきたいなと思いますね。
はい、ありがとうございます。髪型がもう色がもうフェニックスカラー。
あ、そうなんですよ。
ですよね。
はい。
これはあれですか、もうこのシーズンに合わせて。
あ、そうです。だからね、セミファイナルの時にやったんですよね、一回。はい。で、これちょっと撮影の前に一回ちゃんと綺麗にやったんで、この状態になってるこの時はもう今しかないです、多分。もうこの先そこまで手入れはするんですけど、そこまで何回もやらないんで、はい。まあ半々ですかね。はい。まあやっぱりなんて言うんでしょう。嬉しいんですけど、まあいや9割もちろん嬉しいんですけど、なんか1割がやっぱどっかに引っかかるものあるなっていう。
Hashi also noted that both fighters were in peak condition from the public workouts he observed. Their physical shape looked excellent, and the amount of effort they had put in was extraordinary. He implied that the fight would push them to their absolute limits, and anything could happen if someone overextended or miscalculated.
なんかね、やっぱり最後ね挨拶する方見てやっぱりファンの人の数が本当すごくて、なんかいやこういう風な人間にならないといけないなって、僕がね麻雀サイプロいつか辞める時とか、チーム辞める時か分かんないですけど、目指すべき人間だなって思いましたね、本当に。はい、素直に。僕1年しか会ってないんですよ、誠一さんって。だから正直他の人たちとちょっと関係値とか低いし、昔からどういう人だったかあんま分かってなかったんで、でも思いましたね、本当に。はい、そういう風になりたいなと。
Coming in, I'ma play it now, I'ma kill him dog, I'ma play the ball, cause I gotta go say they can beat it. I'ma get it, I'ma grab it, man, make it mine. I'm explosive like a mine, I've been through it on the grind. I'ma shine all day, I'ma kill this.
まあやってみたいのは、いや石井さんですね、やってみたいのは。石井さんももちろんめちゃくちゃ強いんですけど、僕ねやっぱりタイトル戦の決勝で石井さんに1回 負けたんですよ。僕と石井さんどっちかが優勝で、僕が負けて石井さん優勝だったんですね。だからそのリベンジをちょっとできたらいいのかなって思いますね。はい、東條さんからやっぱりこれは選手どうこうじゃなくて、やっぱそのなんて言うんでしょう、ドラマがあるじゃないですか、ここには。
Even if the fight ended up being decided on points, the fighter's approach in training
I guess really went through the pain, but I'm feeling okay, so I ain't gonna waste my chance.
Power and timing could naturally lead to moments where a knockout became possible, but he left it open-ended, keeping the suspense intact.
そうはい。まあでも性格的には合ってそうでいいんじゃないですか。はい。逆に楽しみじゃないのはシーモイさんですね、一番。全然やりたくないです本当に正直。
それはあれですか、協会の方で戦ってる
し、めちゃめちゃ強いから普通に出てくるのがあんまり得じゃないんで。
Explosive and captivating Inoue could be. He compared him to fighters like Manny Pacquiao, not for moving through weight classes, but for his ability to catch attention with fast, powerful, and exciting performances. Porter suggested that Inoue had the potential to stand out to fans globally, especially those used to the American boxing scene. He also hinted that the fight would be a true test of strategy and adaptability. Inoue's combination of speed, timing, and knockout power meant that MJ would need to be fully prepared from the opening.
I am a mind flyer, I got a million desires that I just need to go achieve.
Leaving fans eager to see how the bout would unfold.
I thought that between Isak Cruz and Inoue, we might have the next fighter, foreign fighter for the sake of words, who could translate to the American audience. I do believe that that is Inoue. I think Inoue is the next Manny Pacquiao. Not at that going all the way up the weight class and all that stuff, but someone who's extremely explosive, eye-catching, and also inviting to who he is as a fighter and as a person. It could be him, so I'm looking forward to that.
From there, Manny Pacquiao gave his own perspective on Inoue. Pacquiao said he was proud of him, recognizing the similarities between Inoue's style and his own when he was a young fighter coming up at 115 and 122 pounds. He praised Inoue's explosiveness and versatility, pointing out that he could fight with different motivations climbing up this ladder. Pacquiao also hinted at just how high Inoue's ceiling could be, mentioning that if Inoue wanted to chase multiple divisions, he could offer advice on that journey. At the same time, he reminded that climbing through weight classes was one of the hardest things to accomplish, leaving fans with the sense that Inoue had the tools to achieve greatness.
I'm going up higher, I need to do it to the...
Inoue, I'm proud of him. He's from Japan in Asia, in our place. So his style is like when I was young, like 15, like when I was 115, 122, 115. Inoue is he can fight in different division. If you want my advice on how to do what to do, I can give him advice.
You can get him to 8 divisions?
I don't know. 8 division is hard to accomplish with it.
Everyone saw something different in how the matchup could play out, from explosive starts to long tactical battles. These were the predictions of UFC fighters before the fight. Now the question is, who did you have your money on? Let us know in the comments below.